What's going on, extreme metal fans? Skidgore back again. Hopefully, this will be the last video, but these have been a blast to do, going over some of my favorite extreme metal, black death metal bands. Hope you've been enjoying this series. But, yep, home stretch, so let's get into this. First up, I still don't know where the hell the cover went for this CD, but this is Incubus Serpent Temptation. That is the death metal Incubus, by the way. The one from New Orleans. I believe they're from New Orleans. I still don't know where that damn cover is. I have no idea where that went. After the move, I just never saw it again. But got the CD at least. Same goes for this. I don't know where the cover went for this either, but Those of the Unlight by Marduk. Definitely a huge fan of Marduk. Have so much respect for them. They've been doing it for so long. They're just masters of their craft, you know. This is a pretty cool box set here. Big Marduk pack. I always love this. Amazing shit in here. Such a band with so much history. Just have so much respect for them and their music. Legion was one of the best fucking black metal vocalists, and just amazing frontman. And when he left, they got someone else. I forget who they got now, but he's badass as well. Marduk, you can't go wrong. They always will deliver some of the best black metal for sure. Yeah, rest in peace, John. This is dissection at their best. You know, such a great DVD. Seeing him alive and well. Such a great set. Really cool interviews. Anti-cosmic metal of death, absolutely. Rest in peace, John. At least we got your music. He did another band called The Black, which I really like too. Let's see. Can't have a list without the classic Bathory. Quorthon, rest in peace. You were an absolute black metal genius in every sense of the word. Nothing but respect for this great band whose music is just timeless among metal fans. Even if you're not even an extreme metal fan, you know the name Bathory. They're kind of just one of those bands that you just know it. You know them, and they know that this is going to be some pretty badass shit. If you're into that type of music. Under the Sign of the Black Mark. Such a classic record. Probably my favorite. I don't know. It's hard between The Return and Under the Sign of the Black Mark. That's a hard one. Bloodfire Death. Getting more into their Viking roots. Still a badass record. A Fine Day to Die. Hammerheart's also a really great album. Then we're going to go into some more classic gore-drenched death metal. Chris Reifert. Autopsy. This is a really cool compilation of all their earlier material. I love all Autopsy. Such an absolute amazing band. Death Doom pioneers, pretty much. Pretty much wrote the book on just disgusting riffs, man. My God. In the Grip of Winter. You'll never forget the first time you hear this stuff. Hole in the Head. Absolutely destined to fester. Just amazing. Chris Reifert, and he drums and sings at the same time, so I have such respect for his talent. It's unbelievable frontman and drummer. He also went to go form Abscess, and then also worked with Killjoy and Ravenous, which is coming up here in a minute. And then we have, Burzum. It's probably my favorite record by him, I guess. I think the first four Burzum albums are pretty influential, very influential to what will become the DSBM, depressive black metal um, scene later there, and of course the whole one band and mentality. I I like the music. That's about it. That's all I can really say. Then we have the classic Cannibal Corpse, and with I'm gonna put these in two pieces here. So for Barnes, my favorite I guess is the Bleeding. I don't know. I kind of go back between Tomb of the Mutilated and the Bleeding. I love all Corpse. There's no such thing as a bad Corpse album. But for Barnes there, I'm probably gonna say the Bleeding for now. And then for the Mighty George, Corpse Grinder, Fisher, Respect the Neck. I'll probably go with Bloodthirst. One of the sickest fucking heaviest fucking albums I heard at an early age. I remember this tour. Hacksaw Decapitation is probably my favorite. Spine Splitter, Pounded into Dust, just amazing death metal album. I always will love Cannibal Corpse. I love everything they put out. Their new album's fucking smokes. They're some of the nicest guys if you ever meet them live. Yeah, just so much respect for that band. Respect the neck, indeed. Don't get Corpse Grinder on a Warcraft rant, though. Unless you're prepared for a very long conversation about stuff you probably don't even know. I gotta show this for one of my favorites. We were just talking about this before. This is Ravenous. Assembled in Blasphemy. They also did 3 on a Meat Hook and Blood Delirium. But they were a really badass gore drenched death metal band. Autopsy Worship. Obviously, Chris is in this band as well. Just some very fucking amazing musicians. Danny Licker, Danny Corell, Clint Bauer of Abscess, Autopsy, and of course the mighty Frank Killjoy Pucci on vocals. And I'm so glad I got this signed by him. Absolutely amazing. Such a great record. One of the sickest fucking records ever. Just a putrid, disgusting, maggot-fueled album. Shrieks of the Mutilated, Dead Cut Up and Ready to Fuck, Orgy and Dog's Blood, probably my favorite. Feasting from the Womb, Kept My Grave Open, Assembled in Blasphemy, Perverted Before God, Hallucination of a Deranged Mind, Ageless Existence, and Anointing the Worms. Just a work of sick genius. I just cannot talk so much more about the Ravenous. They're just one of my absolute favorites. Another one of my absolute favorites here. I have all their albums, but I pretty much narrow it down to 2, I guess. And that is The Mighty Darkthrone. I'm gonna go with The Blazing Northern Sky. I don't know. I like all their albums. It's really hard to choose. It's usually Under a Funeral Moon that wins it. But this time I'm gonna go with The Blazing Northern Sky because I remember when I heard In the Shadow of the Horns the first time. It was just really an eye-opening experience. I was just starting to get into black metal at an earlier age, and I discovered this. Their albums were really hard to find back then, too. But that just holds a real special place in my heart. And I gotta show this. Panzerfaust on Moonfog vinyl. Such a great fucking album as well. Celtic Frost Worship. Vocals by a very drunken Nocturne Occulto. That was amusing. The band that pretty much wrote the book on Extremity as far as I'm concerned. And that is the mighty Napalm Death. Going old school with Scum. Just, oh my god. So words can't even describe how influential this just one album is by this very influential band. Unfucking believable. Extreme metal probably would not exist. I don't think grindcore would exist without Napalm Death. Bands like that and Carcass, influenced by Heresy, Siege. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. There's so many. And then for later Napalm Death, I'd probably say Enemy of the Music Business. I remember when this album came out, I was just so fucking pissed off. And they went back to their old logo, which I always preferred. Can't go wrong with Napalm Death. They're still kicking ass, man. They're just like one of those bands that are never going to stop releasing really quality, badass releases. Barney and Company. Shane Embry, rest in peace. No. I meant Jesse, I'm sorry. Shane Embry, he's still kicking ass. Got the greatest hair in metal. Mitch Harris, I don't know what Mitch Harris is doing now. I don't think he's in the band anymore. I'm a little sketchy on Napalm Death these days. I don't really know who's all in the band. I know Barney and Danny's on drums, and then of course Shane's on bass. I don't know who's on guitar though. I forgot. I'll have to look into that. But definitely a band you can always count on to deliver the grind. We got Abbeth's first solo album. Fucking badass. I don't even know it was limited, honestly. That's crazy. I just saw it and bought it. I'm glad I did. But yeah, I saw Abbeth and Obituary together, and that was really badass. But Abbeth, of course, the voice of Immortal, always will be the voice of Immortal, in my opinion at least. Let me go for some more Norwegian black metal classics. Go with Satyricon, Dark Medieval Times. Can't go wrong with Frost, one of my absolute favorite extreme metal drummers. Nemesis Divina. Some of my absolute favorite albums. And I really do like Rebel Extravaganza as well. I remember when this came out, and they were touring with Pantera in Europe. And Phil would come out and sing Havoc Vulture with them. That was fucking cool. There's a DVD called Roadkill that I got that shows all that. It's fucking really cool footage. I always just had so much respect for Satyricon, and they're still kicking ass, man. I hope we get another album by them. That's definitely one band I really want to see live that I've never seen live. That would just be an amazing experience to see Satyricon. I already saw this next band, which was more than an honor, an absolute fucking honor. I've seen Emperor, one of my absolute favorite Norwegian black metal bands and just black metal bands in general. Unfucking believable. That show was just unbelievable. It wasn't a very long tour, but I'm so glad I saw it. They played all their hits. Mostly they concentrated on anthems. They played the whole Anthems album front to back. It was just such an amazing experience I'll never forget. I think if you go through some of my videos on here, you'll see some footage from that show I took. Such a great time. All right, well, we're going to go to some classic death metal here. It's Morbid Angel. I'll choose Altars of Madness for their older releases. Definitely a monumental classic, right along with Napalm Death. Deicide's first. Just bands like that just released really, you gotta say Slowly We Rot too by Obituary. The Florida death metal scene in general was just really cooking back then. But Altars of Madness, Chapel of Ghouls, one of my absolute favorites. And then I gotta throw this on there just because I love this album so much. It's just so fucking heavy, and Eric Ratain's guitar work is just, along with Trey, is just unbelievable. Pete Sample's drumming, and I really love Steve Tucker's voice. I've always been a fan of Gateways to Annihilation. I actually saw this tour with Pantera back in 2000, and it was just, that was the first ever death metal band I ever saw in my life. I was just a I was pretty young, so it definitely was an eye-opening experience. But definitely got to see Gateways to Annihilation. Definitely one of my favorites. All right, we're coming to the end here. Got the one, the only Mayhem. This is live in Leipzig with Dead on vocals. Very badass vinyl to have. I always love spinning this one. Very fucking cool. Some of the tracks from De Mysterious are actually on there too, and it's cool to hear Dead sing those. But of course, you gotta have the classic De Mysterious Dum Satanas. One of my absolute favorite albums. You can get this big ass flag. Just always one of those albums, still creepy. And such a history behind the scenes of what was going on. A crazy time. But Hellhammer's drumming is just unbelievable. And I got one more Mayhem I got to show. This is actually one of my favorites because I really prefer Maniac. And I've always loved this fucking live album. This was actually one of the first ones. I think this was the first one I got. This is kind of what the turning point for Norwegian black metal was for me, hearing this. And I really like it because From the Dark Past, Attila comes out and sings along with Maniac, so you get both the singers together. I just think it's really cool. There's actually a live video of this show on YouTube I found. But this is from Italy on the Wolf Slayer Abyss tour. And it's just one of my absolute favorite albums. I just love listening to this. I love the way Hellhammer's drums sound too. All right, well, we are pretty much done here. So we are going to go to one of my faves with the Mighty Necrophagia. Season of the Dead. I don't even know what to say what I haven't said already. I mean, if you watch my channel, you know how much this band means to me. And how much Killjoy meant to me. Oops. But, yeah. This is such a classic death metal album. New Resistance Records release. I think this is an original. So fucking monumental, classic, influential. The whole 9 yards. Really pushed the boundaries of singing about horror films. The utmost respect for Necrophagia. And I gotta show my favorite later album by them, which would be White Worm Cathedral. Sadly, this would be their last album. But they definitely went out with a bang. And I was so privileged to see this tour twice. It was just an unbelievable experience. Would you please focus, you fucking piece of shit? God, I really hate this fucking phone. Absolute amazing album. And I got two more here, and I wouldn't been able to live with myself if I didn't include both of these. I mean, I know this is a death metal, black metal video, but I gotta show these two bands just because they're so influential on that style of music, even if they don't play exactly that style of music, you know? Anyway, that's Slayer Helloway. It's so influential to black metal and death metal. Just an absolute classic. My favorite Slayer album. Always will be. At Dawn They Sleep, Necrophiliac, some of my absolute favorites. Combat Records, original, I believe. Such an absolute amazing, groundbreaking album. Never been surpassed. That is Slayer at their absolute satanic best, in my opinion. And I just gotta show this. I just gotta show black metal, Venom. I mean, they coined the term. That debate will always be raging whether Venom is true black metal or whatever the fuck the debate is. I really don't give a shit. I just love the band. I love the music. They're legends. They deserve nothing but the utmost respect. Can't go wrong, man. Just they're an absolute classic. Did so much. You wouldn't have any of these bands on the list of this huge, never-ending list if it wasn't for Venom and bands like that, obviously. So very appropriate that I included it. So there you go. That's about it. That was a blast to do. But I'll be honest, I'm kind of glad it's over because my feet are killing me from kneeling. And we went through a lot of fucking badass bands. And if you never heard of any of these bands, I hope you check some of them out and you enjoy them like I do. But I'm pretty sure if you watch this video, you already know your shit. And yeah, leave a comment below. Recommend me some bands that I missed. I know I missed Grave, Oppressor, Dismember, like an ever-flowing stream. Like, I really want that album, but it's so damn hard to find. I just couldn't find it. Be on the hunt for it for sure. Forgotten Tomb is another one. I'm sure there's many. Abscess as well. There's so many bands. So many great death and black metal bands out there to still be discovered. But that's what makes it fun. It's kind of like horror movies. You just kind of discover new shit. It keeps it real. So without further ado, thank you all very much. This is Skidgore. Thank you for watching and subscribing. I really appreciate it. I'm probably going to be taking a bit of a break because I'm going to be getting a new phone. And I have no idea how that's even going to work. It took me a couple months just learning this piece of shit. Now I got to learn a whole new phone. So what fun. It might be a while till you hear from me again, but hope you're satisfied with all these series I've made. Y'all take care of yourselves. Skidgore. Gore forever. Stay metal.